Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Our today's session is on paragraph development. Well, before I go for the details of today's session, I would quickly share a review of the previous session. Our previous session was on sentence transformation. In that session, I talked about what is sentence transformation, why it is important to learn how to transform sentences, and how they are used in academic writing. Mainly in that session, I talked about the rules of sentence transformation, important rules of sentence transformation that are generally applied in academic writing were shared with you. For each rule, I gave you some examples as well. Towards the end of that session, we had some exercises on sentence transformation, and I hope these exercises would have helped you learn more and to have some practice in how to transform different sentences by retaining their meaning. Well, moving on to today's session, I would say that the current session is on paragraph development. I would start with what is a paragraph and what is its importance in any piece of writing. With regard to the development of paragraph, I would also talk about selection of topic sentence and controlling idea. Then within a composition, how different types of paragraphs in terms of their positioning are used. I would talk about those types, which would include introductory paragraphs, body paragraphs of a composition, and the concluding paragraph or paragraphs of a composition. I would also share some techniques and devices that can be used to develop good paragraphs. As we would move towards the end of the session, we would have some exercises and activities to check how far we have learned through the session and how far we know the ways of developing a good paragraph. Well, paragraph development is a very, very important tool that you can use as your study tool when it comes to academic writing. That is why the information that I wanted to share with you regarding paragraphs is split into two parts. The current session is about the main rules that are to be used or the devices that can be used to develop good paragraphs, and I am introducing to you the introductory, body, and then the transitional or concluding paragraphs within a composition and how they have certain important features. However, there is another set of what I would call classification of paragraphs, or there are different types of paragraphs that are generally talked about. So in the next session, inshallah ta'ala, I would talk about different types of paragraphs. I would give you the characteristics of each type of paragraph. I would also talk about how each of them is to be used in particular academic contexts and what are the important features of each of those and how those features can be incorporated to make those paragraphs good pieces of writing. So far, we would start with what is a paragraph. I have already talked about the importance of paragraph from the perspective of reading when we were doing sessions on reading. However, here I am talking from the perspective of writing. A paragraph is a group of sentences that develops one central point. If you remember, when I was talking about reading, even there I said when you read a paragraph, look for one central point that the writer has presented. Now, when I talk of writing and development of paragraph or paragraph writing, I would say that a paragraph is a group of sentences that generally develops one central point, which means or which implies when you are writing a composition or any other academic writing, most of the times each paragraph would have one main idea. So the more you have the ideas, the more you would have paragraphs. You need to distribute them in paragraphs. A paragraph is a group of related sentences. It usually has one main idea and it has a topic sentence that presents the controlling idea. Some supporting sentences are also in the paragraph, and then there is a concluding sentence. Continuing on, what is a paragraph? I would say a paragraph is a collection of sentences that are related to one common theme. They all not only relate to one common theme, but also I would say that they make a unifying piece of writing and actually you can equate a paragraph with a small essay. Be considerate of your reader by making your paragraphs neither too long nor too short. Even do not make them too dense for your reader to understand or to comprehend. So as a writer, you need to consider the reader. My dear students, writing paragraphs is a skill that comes with practice, just like almost everything else in life. Once the formulaic understanding of the types of sentences is mastered, joining these sentences together is the next major task in writing process. A good paragraph has a beginning, middle and end. A good paragraph is one that is well developed and organized. It has a main idea or topic sentence. It has supporting sentences that add clarification or detail to help the reader understand the topic. Finally, it has either a concluding sentence or a transitional sentence that ends the paragraph's idea completely or moves the idea rather smoothly for the reader to the next paragraph. What I mean by this is that rarely you write a paragraph in isolation. Most of the times you have to do some academic writing or generally that is composition writing where you have more than one paragraph. So sometimes a paragraph concludes an idea and it completely finishes it. With another paragraph you start something completely new. However, depending upon the nature of what you are talking about, what your topic is, or the idea that you are presenting, depending upon that, sometimes the idea that you present in one paragraph, it is to be carried on to the next one, or it is to be linked to the next paragraph, or the idea presented in the next paragraph. In that case, a transitional sentence indicates at the end of a paragraph that the idea would move on. And it enables the reader to smoothly switch or shift from one paragraph to the other paragraph. Now we would start talking about the beginning or the topic sentence, from where generally a paragraph starts. Especially when it comes to academic writing, most of the times the first sentence is the topic sentence of a paragraph. Though there are possibilities that sometimes the last sentence or even somewhere at the mid of the paragraph you can place a sentence that would be the topic sentence. Anyhow, the topic sentence states what the paragraph is about and is thus probably going to be somewhat general in nature. A topic sentence reveals the writer's direction. It tells the reader where the idea of the paragraph is going. A topic sentence is the beginning, the jumping off point of the paragraph. Think of each paragraph as a separate entity. Each has a beginning, that is the topic sentence. A topic sentence is usually, as I have already said, the first sentence of the paragraph, but not always. When it comes to the writing of the topic sentence or the construction of your topic sentence, I would say review the following rules for writing your topic sentence. Number 1. One topic equals one main idea per paragraph. Number 2. The support sentences that follow the topic sentence are closely related to the topic sentence or the main idea. Number 3. The topic sentence forces the writer to control the writing of the paragraph by keeping it within the boundaries of the main idea or topic. And finally, the topic sentence should be neither too broad of an idea nor too narrow in scope. Now, why should it not be too broad? Because you have to cover that idea and its relevant details within a paragraph. If it is too broad, it would not be possible to cover it and the message would not be fully communicated. If it is too narrow, its scope is too narrow, you cannot write one full-fledged paragraph on that, because if you would try to do that, it would most of the times it would be likely to become a repetitive expression, and since there would be something very small that you would talk about, you would not have the scope of expressing or sharing more information, the kind of information that is required, the amount of information rather I would say that is required in a paragraph. The question then comes how to select a topic sentence and the controlling idea. The topic sentence states the theme and the controlling idea specifies the limits of the statement. Well, for your clarity, I would like to repeat that the topic sentence states the theme, which means your topic sentence gives the main idea or the central theme around which the whole paragraph is to be built. And the controlling idea specifies the limit of that statement. Now, the theme that you want to share, it is limited. It is given boundaries with the help of controlling idea. Now look at the two examples that I have given here on the slide. Example number 1 is, for example, if a topic sentence is, Internet has 3 advantages. If you look at this sentence, a very simple construction, actually it is a simple sentence, and the topic of the sentence is Internet. What is the controlling idea? The controlling idea of this topic sentence is 3 advantages. Now, for example, if you have different options of controlling ideas and topic sentence regarding the same theme. For example, if it is Internet has many advantages, Internet has a few advantages, Internet has advantages. Look at all these examples. Internet has 3 advantages, Internet has many advantages, or Internet has a few advantages. In all these 3 examples, what happens? Every time the writer is limiting in some ways. The writer would talk about 3 advantages, would talk about many, this is comparatively less controlled, and then a few से फिर आपने control कर दिया कि चंद advantages. But if the sentence is Internet has advantages, now the theme sentence or the topic sentence in this case, when it is Internet has advantages, would not be a very good example of topic sentence, because it does not have a controlling idea that would tell the reader or that would guide the reader how much of information is going to be shared with him or her. Now look at example 2. Smoking is harmful for various reasons. Smoking is the topic of the sentence, whereas the controlling idea of this topic sentence is various reasons or many reasons. Starting with this topic, the author gives some reasons why smoking is harmful. But if this word various or any other such controlling word, many or a few, would not have been used, then it would have been difficult for the writer to direct the reader towards how much of information he is or she is going to share. Well, here are some common phrases that can be used to express the controlling idea. The controlling idea may be expressed in any of these phrases according to the requirements, such as several reasons, 3 groups, 4 steps, the following steps, these affects, several problems, 3 main causes, 2 aims, 3 characteristics, 2 classes, 3 kinds, many rules. And of course there are many more expressions. I have just given these expressions for your clarity, how you can control the idea that you present in the topic sentence. Sometimes it is not necessary that you use a phrase to control your idea, or that you have given in your topic sentence. You can only use a word for that. A single word is enough. For example, you can use words such as suitable, unsuitable, good, bad, successful, unsuccessful, beautiful, ugly, busy, free. So you see, by making choices between suitable or unsuitable, by making a choice between good or bad or beautiful or ugly, actually what you do as a writer is you direct the reader. You prepare the reader what is going to be the direction of what you're going to present. I have an activity, an exercise for you, and I would like you to work on it to learn the difference in how a topic sentence is to be identified in terms of its theme or topic idea or main idea and the controlling idea. Please look at the following. Number 1, different people spend their weekends in different ways. Identify what is the controlling idea. I hope you would have been able to do it by identifying different ways. People hold different views about palmistry. Are you able to guess what would be the main, what would be the controlling idea here? Different views. Number 3, there are 2 misunderstandings about studying. Of course, 2 misunderstandings. Here 2 is used to guide you, to control the idea that is presented. Look at the 4th one. It is again very focused. Smoking is harmful for 4 reasons. In this case, yes, 4 reasons is the controlling idea. I would read the next 3 sentences for you. Identify the controlling ideas of these. School canteens have 3 advantages. Next, I always run into some problems when I try to study at home. Next, there are only 2 ways of getting thin. I hope you would have been able to identify the controlling idea. I would share the correct answers with you. School canteens have 3 disadvantages. 3 disadvantages is the controlling idea. I always run into some problems when I try to study at home. Of course, some problems is the controlling idea. There are only 2 ways of getting thin. 2 ways. So you see, you delimit, you restrict yourself, you give a kind of a boundary to your paragraph by telling that only this much would be talked about, only this much information you would provide as a writer. Last weekend I had a busy time. So do it. Next, I think it is a good idea for everyone to study a foreign language. Next, the use of chemical pesticides can be harmful for plants and animals. Have you done these? If you have done these, I would like you to check your answers. Last weekend I had a busy time. Last weekend is the controlling idea, which tells that you are talking about your busy time, but only about the last week. I think it's a good idea for everyone to study a foreign language. Here, I think is the controlling idea, where the writer has given you a clue that the opinion that is given about studying a foreign language is his or her personal perspective that he or she is going to present in this piece of in this paragraph or in this piece of writing. The use of chemical pesticides can be harmful for plants and animals. Here, can be, the possibilities, is actually a controlling idea that gives you a clue that the writer would talk about the possibilities that maybe chemical pesticides can be harmful to plants or animals. With this, we move on to the next slide. I hope by so far you are clear about what a topic sentence is and how there is a main idea or a controlling idea that gives boundaries to a topic sentence and thus gives boundaries to the whole paragraph. With this, now we are moving on to the next point, that is the support sentences. This is the middle of the paragraph. Support sentences do just that. That is support. As the very word, as the very name, support sentences includes or gives clues to. Support sentences are those sentences that are used to support what is said in the first sentence or the topic sentence. Well, support sentences provide the reader with more specific or concrete details about the topic sentence or main idea of the paragraph. Also, support sentences help to explain the topic and provide some interesting facts. Usually there are about 3 to 5 support sentences in a paragraph depending upon the topic. At this point, I would like to make it clear that when it comes to the writing of fiction, when it comes to the writing of, for example, a story or a novel, you can have a very long paragraph of say 2 to 3 pages, or you can have a paragraph of a single sentence. Sometimes even a single word would make a paragraph. However, when I talk of academic writing, actually in academic formal writing, you have generally paragraphs that are of 4 to 8 sentences depending upon the nature of the topic. In that case, 3 to 5 support sentences would be found generally in a paragraph that is written for academic purposes. Continuing on the supporting sentences, I would say that take supporting sentences in a paragraph as a logical rather than a random unit. Supporting sentences also function as a transitory device. They help the reader to see the connections between ideas. So you see, the placement of supporting sentences in a paragraph is not random or without any sequence or logic. Rather, they devise a network that supports what is said in the main sentence. So anything that has no direct bearing on the topic sentence must be excluded from a paragraph. And as a writer, you also must apply cohesion and coherence when you are adding supporting sentences in a paragraph. Here I am going to share 2 examples with you. The first example is an example of a poor construction of paragraph where the sentences that are given as supporting sentences are not well organized and well selected as well. Let's see what the paragraph says. There are 2 main reasons why I joined the army. So this is the main sentence. As far as the main sentence or the topic sentence is concerned, this is perfectly fine. The topic is reasons of joining army, whereas the controlling idea is 2 main reasons. Now the supporting sentences start. First supporting sentence is, the recruitment office for joining the army in Karachi is on Sharahe Faisal. Number 2, however, the officers have to go for their initial training to the PMA Academy in Kakul. Third supporting sentence as given here is, Karachi is on the top of Arabian Sea. Number 4, but Kakul is near the hill station Aptabad. Number 5, it is very green and beautiful in Kakul, and on a clear day, snow-peaked mountains can be seen. And the 6th supporting sentence is, my friend Asim had never seen mountains before, so he was very happy to be recruited along with me. The last sentence that concludes the paragraph is, "It is a very exciting experience for us." I hope you would have noticed that each sentence that is given as a supporting sentence in this paragraph is complete in itself when it comes to see it in isolation. However, when it comes to their placement in the paragraph, they do not make a cohesive whole. They do not relate much to each other, and they also do not correspond to the main idea of the paragraph, the topic, that is reasons for joining army. The author's reason for joining army, because he said why I joined army. Also, the topic sentence had the controlling idea that two main reasons are shared, but here it becomes haphazard in the paragraph when it comes to the supporting sentences, and the reader is not clear what are those two main reasons for which the writer joined army. Okay, now we move on to the next slide. Look at the same paragraph again. I would read it out for you, and you can see that this is a far better option as compared to the first one. There are two main reasons why I have chosen to join the army. The main idea and the controlling idea are the same in the first sentence. However, you could notice that some revision is made in the construction of the sentence. Number one, the first supporting sentence is, "First of all, it is a noble profession." So you see, the system of organizing supporting sentences is very clear. First of all. So the reader is facilitated by presenting them in some order. The first is that it is a noble profession, and further details on this idea, the reason that it is a noble profession, are added. In this profession, we are responsible for defending our country. Number three, also our countrymen respect us for our devotion and patriotism. With this, explanation on the first reason comes to an end, and the writer goes on to the second reason by stating in the fourth supporting sentence, the second reason is that in this profession there is a lot of scope for personal development. Now the second reason, that is scope for personal development, the further elaboration is given in the next sentences. Officers are groomed to develop self-confidence and leadership qualities. The sixth supporting sentence again adds to the second reason, that is these qualities are useful not only professionally but also in other real life situations. So you see, under two main reasons, that is a controlling idea, the whole information is divided. And finally the writer gives the concluding sentence. So the word "so" gives a clue that this is a movement towards conclusion. So joining the army was a good decision I took. You can notice the difference in the first and this paragraph, and you would see that the second paragraph is a far more organized and well-designed paragraph in terms of the choice of supporting sentences with relation to the main idea and the topic sentence. With this, we move to the concluding and transitional sentences in a paragraph. Moving towards the end of a paragraph, I would say that a paragraph has a proper ending. There are proper sentences, either a concluding sentence or a transitional sentence that gives a closure, what I would call a neat closure to a paragraph. A concluding or a transitional sentence is used to complete a thought about the topic of the paragraph. Such a sentence ends a standalone paragraph with a more thought-provoking statement. A concluding sentence is a kind of a grand finale, so to speak. It shows that the paragraph is concluded and it is finished. To give a closing to a paragraph, two types of sentences, as I have already said, are used: concluding sentences or transitional sentences. Concluding sentences are the bold-faced sentences that are added onto the support sentences as concluding remarks. These paragraphs are finished and are not leading to another paragraphs. This is the message when concluding sentences are used at the end of certain paragraphs. So a paragraph that has a concluding sentence at the end, it means the thought or the idea that is presented in that paragraph comes to an end with that sentence. That thought or idea is not carried forward to the next paragraph. In contrast to this, there are transitional sentences that are sometimes used to close a paragraph. A paragraph that has a transitional ending ends one thought but slides into the topic of the next paragraph for a smooth transition. So one thought is completed in the paragraph by adding a transitional sentence at the end, but this kind of sentence enables the reader to smoothly glide or move or shift from that paragraph to the next paragraph, or to link the thought in the previous paragraph to the next one. With this, I would move on to different types of paragraphs. Well, at this point, I would like to make it clear that right now the types of paragraphs that I am talking about are the types that are actually based on the placement of different paragraphs within a bigger composition. So actually, as within a paragraph, we have the possibility of 4 types of sentences. That is introductory sentence, body sentences, a transitional sentence, or a concluding sentence at the end. In the same way, in any composition, there is a possibility of having 4 types of paragraphs. An introductory paragraph, then body paragraphs, and then towards the end of the composition, transitional or concluding paragraphs that would give an ending to the composition and would give it a neat closure. Well, when it comes to an introductory paragraph, I would say an introductory paragraph supports the main thesis of the piece of writing, and it does this in 3 ways. First, it engages readers' interest with a strong opening sentence. Some writing texts advise using a quotation or an anecdote to capture readers' attention, and this can work well. However, I would say that the choice of a quotation or anecdote or some saying would depend upon the nature of the topic and the purpose of writing. Secondly, an introductory paragraph also supports the thesis, that is the main idea of the composition, by giving relevant background information and context such as important facts or theory. And thirdly, I would say the third and perhaps most important function of an introductory paragraph is to introduce the thesis statement, the main statement, and thereby focus your readers on the central idea of your paper, your article, or your composition. Moving on to the body paragraphs, I would say once you have engaged your readers and presented your thesis in your introduction, use your body paragraphs to fully develop your ideas. In this case, you can do this by introducing a subtopic of the thesis in a topic sentence, and this is how you can move from one body paragraph to the other. For example, if you were expanding a theme about Napoleon's loss at Waterloo, you might have a topic sentence that reads like this: Napoleon brought on one of the first financial crises of the French government by emptying government coffers for his war with Britain. Notice that the topic sentence does not provide details, just the general topic of the paragraph is introduced. Also notice that the topic sentence tells readers how the paragraph's topic or main idea relates to the essay's core thesis. So once you have your topic sentence in place, you can now develop your main idea with sentences that provide supporting details. And this is how you can move from one body paragraph to the next. With this, I move on to transitional paragraphs. Well, there are times when you want to shift from one subtopic of your thesis to another, or from a general discussion to a more detailed treatment of an idea. At these times, you can use a transitional paragraph to sum up what you have already talked about and to hint at the material that is yet to come in the next paragraphs. What I mean by this is that if in an article or a paper or a composition, when you are talking about one broad idea, but you have three sub-ideas that are related to that, now that you have finished in 4 or 5 paragraphs, you have finished about the first sub-idea, and you want to shift to the second sub-idea, you may use a transitional paragraph. A transitional paragraph in this case would sum up what you have talked about the first sub-idea in the previous 4 or 5 paragraphs. It would also drop clues for the reader that you are going to talk about the second sub-idea and its details in the upcoming paragraphs. So mainly a transitional paragraph acts as a milestone. It shows this is how much you have covered and this is where you would move on towards. It directs towards what is to be presented yet. It makes shift from one idea or sub-idea to the other idea or sub-idea smooth and easy for the reader. And the reader can very easily move from one part of the essay or writing or composition to the other part. Finally, I come towards the concluding paragraph or paragraphs of a piece of writing, a composition or an essay. The conclusion should restate or reassert the core idea of your work, but it should also clearly flow from the material you have carefully developed in your body paragraphs. And thus, it should be more than a mechanical restatement of your thesis. What I mean by this is that the main idea or the topic that you have presented in your introductory paragraph or paragraphs, your concluding paragraph or concluding paragraphs should not be a repetition of the same. Though they sum up exactly what is said in the initial paragraph, the introductory paragraph, but actually this summing up includes and involves all that you have developed through the body paragraphs. So your body paragraphs and the knowledge that you have shared in the body paragraphs or the information that you have provided in the body paragraphs, it should be reflected in some ways in your concluding paragraph. And it is not a mechanical repetition of the first paragraph anyways. I would reiterate that an effective concluding paragraph should reinforce the central idea of your paper or your essay and leave your readers satisfied that you have made your case. Well, one way to ensure that you have written an effective conclusion is to ask yourself, does it strengthen the main message of my paper or my work? If it draws conclusions from the points you have made in your paper or suggests the implications of them, chances are that you have developed a good conclusion for your piece of writing. Well, commenting on different types of paragraphs, I would say that keeping in mind the purpose of writing and the audience, you would determine the type of paragraphs. To focus on the writer's experiences and is the expressive aim, and to inform or explain information is the expository aim. In the same way, to persuade or to argue the reader to one side of an issue is the persuasive aim. So whatsoever your aim is, whether you want to persuade the reader for something, you want to have an explanation of something, you want to share a narrative, you want to describe something. Depending upon your objective, again there is a possibility of having different types of ideas. However, we would go into these types of paragraphs and their details in the next session. For the time being, what I would like to do is I would like to share a few techniques and strategies or devices that can be used to build good paragraphs or to develop good paragraphs. Well, several methods exist for developing paragraphs. Some writers may find that simply using an outline helps them to better enhance their skills, while others may discover that they need to combine different techniques to put together stronger writing. Here are some simple suggestions that may help in developing a good paragraph. Number 1, creating an outline. Number 2, topic sentence development. Number 3, supporting details. Number 4, using quotations and evidence. Number 5, analyzing quotations and evidence. So only presenting quotations and evidence is not enough to develop good paragraphs. You need to analyze them as well. Providing strong relevant information, using concise language, using clear words, crafting a strong conclusion statement, and if needed, using or utilizing appropriate transition words. And finally, of course, the basic part of it is following proper grammar rules. So these are the basic things that one needs to take care of while developing a paragraph. Here are some devices that can be used to achieve good paragraph writing. A true paragraph is not just a set of sentences, as I have said earlier, that are just put together randomly, but sentences which are interlinked with each other. This interlinking provides coherence to the paragraph. There are 4 significant devices to achieve this quality. Number 1, use of pronouns. Number 2, use of repetition, that is of repetition of keywords and phrases. Number 3, use of synonyms. And number 4, use of connectives. We would look at these one by one and see what does it mean to use any of these. Well, first we come to the use of pronouns. Words that refer to nouns or other pronouns allow readers to follow your train of thought from one sentence to the next without boring repetition. Without pronouns, you would have to repeat nouns over and over again. And this repetition spoils the beauty of a paragraph. Please look at the example. Pasteur proved that he was right by a very simple and clever experiment. He put some soup into some bottles and then he boiled it in order to destroy all germs. Any germs that might already be in the soup. After that, he heated and pulled out the neck of each bottle until it formed a long, narrow neck with a big bend in the middle. Now, if you look at the paragraph, you would see that certain words are underlined here. Of course, these are pronouns. He is repeatedly used here for Pasteur once he is introduced at the beginning with his name. At the outset of the paragraph, whenever he is to be referred to, the pronoun he is used instead of his name. In the same way, it is used to refer to soup. So instead of repeating it again and again, the pronoun it is used to refer to it. This saves the paragraph from the monotony of repetition of certain nouns. The second device to achieve a good paragraph writing is repetition of keywords. Well, this might sound quite contradictory to you, that I was just right now talking about that repetition of nouns is to be avoided and pronouns are to be used, and now I say that the repetition of keywords helps as a device to achieve a good paragraph writing. Actually, it is not contradictory. Here what I mean by repetition of keywords is that a strong word that's central to the main idea of the paragraph, if it is repeated more than once, this repetition is a useful way to achieve coherence in a paragraph. For example, look at the following paragraph. Capital can build irrigation canals in India, supply pumps and tube wells to tap the fresh water under the saline marshes of the Indus River Basin in West Pakistan. Capital can supply tools, machinery, pesticides, fertilizers, and provide training in modern methods. Most important of all, foreign capital can create an atmosphere that is conducive to self-help. Now, quite contrary to the previous paragraph, if you look at this paragraph, you would see that instead of using it as a pronoun for capital, the word capital is repeated. It achieves two targets through this repetition. Firstly, the purpose of the writer is to achieve coherence. It directly relates the second sentence to the first sentence for the reader when the word capital is repeated at the outset of the second sentence again. Secondly, it helps the writer emphasize the idea that he or she wants to strongly emphasize. Thirdly, you can notice that in the last sentence, most important of all, foreign capital can create an atmosphere that is conducive to self-help. Foreign capital, by adding an adjective, additional meaning is created, another dimension is referred to. So this is how it helps. I would also like you to notice that in case of sentences that are more complex in nature, this kind of repetition of keywords helps. If you compare the complexity level of this paragraph, it has more dense vocabulary items and it is more complex as compared to the previous paragraph. So the fear that the reader may not be lost on its way, what is the key word of the paragraph, this repetition of capital here and here enables the reader to stick to that, and it ensures the writer that he or she would be able to keep his or her reader on track. The third device that can be used to achieve coherence is use of synonyms. If you start writing on the topic of hiding something, for example, you might use synonyms like conceal, concealing, hidden, camouflage, etc. to continue that idea in later sentences or paragraphs. Look at the example where different synonyms are used to refer to the same thing. Today, fetal monitors prevent cases of brain damage caused when the baby's oxygen is cut off during labor and birth. Intensive care units for the newborn will halve the rate of US infant mortality. All the three underlined words have the same meaning. However, instead of repeating the first word that is used by the author, he has or she has opted to use different options. Synonyms such as baby and infant are used to replace the original word during the paragraph. With this, I come to the next device that can be helpful in achieving coherence when you write a paragraph. This is the use of connectives. Well, connectives are words such as but, if, and therefore, which indicate logical relationships between two clauses or sentences. They belong to three different word classes. Number one, coordinating conjunctions such as but and or. Number two, subordinating conjunctions if, because, until, etc. Number three, adverbs. Therefore, nevertheless, then, meanwhile, etc. And here I have an example that would show you how connectives can be used to create coherence in a piece of writing. Please look at these examples. The connectors that are used in this paragraph would show you how links are established. Thus, the mishandling of connectives by students is more than a minor local irritant, though it is often treated as such. On the contrary, overuse always shades into misuse, and because the misuse of connectives is inseparable from poor thinking, the issue could hardly be more important. You can see the choice of connectives, thus, though, on the contrary, and all these are used to link up ideas or thoughts. With this, we move towards the more practical part of today's session. What I mean by this is that I have some activities for you where we would apply the knowledge that we have shared so far, and we would see how far we have learned. On this slide you can see certain questions, and you have to fill in the blanks choosing the right option. The directions that I would give for you is select the correct definition and point it out which out of the 4 options for each of these is correct. Number 1. A paragraph contains a dash. A. Beginning. B. Middle. C. End. D. All of the above. Number 2. A dash sentence introduces the idea or main topic. A concluding, B transitional, C topic, D support. So choose the right option for yourself and move on to the third one. A dash sentence ends the thought of the paragraph completely. A concluding, B transitional, C topic, D support. Once you are done with these, I would like you to move on. Here you have 3 more sentences where you have to fill in the blanks with appropriate choices. This is number 4. A, the dash sentence moves the reader from one idea and paragraph to the next idea and paragraph. Options are A, concluding, B, transitional, C, topic, D, support. Number 5. Dash sentences should add detail and interesting facts to the topic or to the topic sentence. Options are A, concluding, B, transitional, C, topic, and 4th option or the D option is support. The last entry on this slide is there are roughly dash support sentences in a paragraph depending on the topic. A, 3 to 5, B, infinite, number C, 1, D, 0. And the last 4 entries for this particular activity are here on this slide now. The topic sentences generally is the dash sentence of the paragraph, and the options that you have are A, last, B, second, C, first, D, none of the above. Number 8 sentence is warfare played a significant role in gaining regional control during the Middle Ages is an example of a dash sentence. Options are A, topic, B, conclusion, C, transitional, D, none of the above. Moving on to the 9th sentence, true or false. Paragraphs should be well structured and organized, and you have to choose between the options. Option A, true, option B, false. Number 10 sentence is support sentences are located in the dash of the paragraph. Option A, beginning, option B, end, option C, middle, option D, all of the above. Well, dear students, this is a very easy activity, and all the 10 blanks that you are supposed to fill actually are based on the information that has already been shared with you through the session. If you have been vigilant, I'm sure you would be able to fill it up. Still, if you find some difficulties with this, I would suggest that you go back to the information that has already been shared and you go through that once again for your clarity. With this, I move on to the next slide, and here I would quickly show you the correct answers of all these blanks. A paragraph contains a dash. A paragraph contains, the option D is correct, that is all of the above, which include beginning, middle and end. So option D is correct. Number 2, a dash sentence introduces the idea or main topic. And the correct option is C. As you can see, I have mentioned it on the slide. Option C is topic. A topic sentence introduces the idea or main topic. Number 3, a dash sentence ends the thought of the paragraph completely. A concluding sentence ends the thought of the paragraph completely. So option A is correct. Number 4, a dash sentence moves the reader from one idea and paragraph to the next idea and paragraph. Transitional sentence moves the reader from one paragraph or idea to the other. Option B is correct. As far as the case of number 5 is concerned, dash sentences should add detail and interesting facts to the topic sentence. Which one is correct? Option D, that is support sentences should add details, is correct. The last blank that is to be filled on this page is, there are roughly dash support sentences in a paragraph. Of course, option A, 3 to 5 support sentences in a paragraph depending on the topic. I hope you remember that this is what I shared with you on the slides. The last 4 blanks that are to be checked whether you could do these correctly or not are here on the slide. Number 7, the topic sentence generally is the dash sentence of the paragraph, first sentence. So option C. Number 8, warfare played a significant role in gaining regional control during the Middle Ages is an example of a dash sentence, example of a topic sentence. For number 9, true or false, paragraphs should be well structured and organized. Well, of course, true, option A. And the last blank that is to be filled in here is, support sentences are located in the dash of the paragraph. Option C is the correct option because support sentences are located in the middle of the paragraph. At the beginning, generally we have the topic sentence, and at the end we have the transition sentence or the concluding sentence. Dear students, with this we move on to activity 2. This activity is related to creating unity in a paragraph. Unity means that all the sentences refer to the main idea or topic of the paragraph, and there is nothing that is irrelevant to the paragraph. Please read this paragraph. I would share this reading with you. I live in a house with my family. We have 2 bedrooms and a living room. We have a garden and we have some flowers there. In weekdays, I arrive home at 5 o'clock and I have lunch. Then I do my homework and go to bed. I had a computer, but now it does not work. I have a brother and a sister, and I think I'm very lucky to live with them. Sometimes our relatives visit us. Our house becomes very crowded sometimes, but I like it. Well, in a unified paragraph, we expect all the sentences to be about the main idea of the paragraph. Now you look at the topic sentence of this paragraph or the main idea of the paragraph and identify what it is, so that you can write it in a way where it covers the ideas that are presented in the whole paragraph. Once you are done, come to the next page. My life at home. So you see, something that would cover all this information, the title that would help you cover, if you have to give a topic or a title to this, the possible topic can be my life at home. The other possibility is that if you don't want to have a topic or a title and you just want to have it without any title, you can create a topic sentence that would come at the beginning. You can add it here. That would cover the whole ideas that are presented in the paragraph. Well, talking of coherence, what I mean is that coherence actually is a way of, it's a means of bringing sentences in a logical manner together in the paragraph. To have coherence in the paragraph, you need to follow a proper definitive kind of plan of writing. Notice when I would read this paragraph that is indicated in blue here, I would like you to read it with me and to notice that there is a point where this coherence is, you see, disturbed. Look at the paragraph. I live in a house in Izmit. It is not old or modern. It is a normal Turkish house. We can say it is near the sea. It takes about 10 minutes to go to the seaside on foot. We have one bedroom, one living room. We have two other rooms too. We use them as a dining room. Naturally, we have a kitchen, a bathroom and a toilet. I live with my parents and our house has a little garden. My parents spend their time there to grow vegetables and fruit. Well, I hope you would have noticed that the paragraph is well organized until the writer says he lives with his parents. ये जो sentence है ना, I live with my parents, it suddenly comes in and it breaks the, what I would call the flow of what is said. It should be put somewhere else in the paragraph. So what I would suggest is rewrite the paragraph in the correct order of ideas by adjusting this information appropriately. Take your time to do this, stop here for a while, and only that you have done it, I would suggest you move on. Well, I hope you have done that. I have provided one possible answer here. Look at this paragraph now. It has more coherence and it has more flow in it, I would say. I live in a house in Izmit. It is not old or modern. It is a normal Turkish house. It is near the sea. It takes about 10 minutes to go to the seaside. Please notice the use of punctuation marks that are used, semicolons that are used to bring small sentences together. In the house, there are 2 bedrooms, 1 living room, and 2 other rooms that we use as dining rooms. If you go to the paragraph on the previous slide, you would see small pieces of information are provided in very, very brief sentences. We can say it is near the sea, it takes 10 minutes to go there, we have bedrooms and 1 bedroom and 1 living room, we have 2 other rooms too, we use them as dining rooms. So the information, for example, that is provided here in 3 sentences, 1 sentence, the 2nd sentence and the 3rd sentence, all this is brought together here in 1 sentence. In the house there are 2 bedrooms, 1 living room and 2 other rooms that we use as dining rooms. So it becomes more coherent, it becomes more flowy, I would say. Naturally, we have a kitchen, a bathroom, a toilet and a little garden. So same is done with the rest of the information that is provided after that. And finally, my parents spend their time growing vegetables and fruits there. So you see the information that was provided here, I live with my parents, it is provided here explicitly and it does not fit in. In this case, it is provided implicitly, it is embedded with the other information and thus it fits in better. My dear students, with this we move on to activity 4. Activity 4 is a practice where for each of the given paragraphs you have to choose the topic sentence that best fits the rest of the paragraph. Small paragraph on each slide that would follow would be given a small paragraph and it would have some information, but its topic sentence would be missing. At the bottom of each of these small paragraphs, you would find some information as presented here as options A, B, C, D. What you have to do is that you have to choose one of these to be presented here as a topic sentence. Now look at the first example. Dash, that is the place for the first sentence or the topic sentence. I would read the rest of the paragraph. Residents have been directed to use the new plastic bins as a primary recycling containers. These new containers will make picking up recyclables faster and easier. Now, which of the following four options you would take as the best possible topic sentence? Number 1. The city has distributed standardized recycling containers to all houses. Number 2. Recycling has become a way of life for most people. Number C. While most Americans recycle, they use more resources than residents of other countries. And number D. Even small cities have begun recycling to pick up used glass, plastic, and paper. If you look at all the options, you would realize option A, the city has distributed standardized cycling containers to all households, becomes the most suitable topic sentence because all the other information that is provided is related to that. And this is the best choice because it is the only one that refers to recycling containers, which is the main focus of the paragraph. The other choices are statements about recycling in general. You see, look at this, recycling containers. With this, I move on to practice 2 under this activity. Let me read the paragraph again. The space is left blank for the first sentence, the topic sentence that you would choose. Telecommunicators produce, on average, 20% more than if they were to work in an office. Sorry, I repeat. Telecommuters produce, on average, 20% more than if they were to work in an office. Their flexible schedule allows them to balance both their family and work responsibilities. Now, the 4 options that you have are A. People who work in offices make up a large part of the US workforce. B. Office workers who telecommute from their own homes are more productive and have greater flexibility. Number C. Many companies now offer their employees benefits that were not available just a few years ago. And option D. One of the biggest problems in corporate America is the lack of skilled office workers. Please work on it. Try to sort out which one would be the most suitable topic sentence. Then move on to the next slide. Option B. Office workers who telecommunicate from their homes are more productive and have greater flexibility can fit in here as the best option as a topic sentence. And I have given you the reason. This is the only choice that mentions telecommuting, which is the main focus of this paragraph. The other choices are very general. And here is number 3 exercise. Exercise 3 or practice 3 under this activity says dash. This is again for the topic sentence. The rest of the paragraph goes, no search of a person's home or personal effects may be conducted without a written search warrant. This means that a judge must justify a search before it can be conducted. And for the topic sentence, you have 4 options. Option A is, there is an old saying that a person's home is his or her castle. B. Much of the US legal system was based on the old British system. C. The 4th Amendment to the Constitution protects citizens against unreasonable searches. And option D. Personal effects is a term that refers to the belongings of a person. Once you are done with making the choice of appropriate topic sentence, move on to the next slide. And here you can see option C is the right option. Do you remember what it was? It was the 4th Amendment to the Constitution protects citizens against unreasonable searches. This is the best topic sentence for this paragraph, because this choice refers to unreasonable researches, which is the main focus of the paragraph. Choice A can be ruled out because this idea is not developed by the other two sentences. Choice B and D do not relate to the topic of the unreasonable researches. Here is practice 4. I read the rest of the paragraph, leaving the space for topic sentence. You must imitate as closely as possible the parent's methods of feeding. First, hold the beak open using thumb and forefinger. Then introduce food into the beak with tweezers or any eyedropper or an eyedropper. Options for the topic sentence are A. Recently I read an article about baby birds. B. Hand rearing wounded or orphaned baby birds requires skill. C. Baby birds are very special creatures and they are also very small. D. I have been told that you should not touch a baby bird that has fallen out of its nest. And I think the option is very clear, and I hope you would be able to make the right choice. Once you are done, move to the next slide. Actually, the hand rearing wounded or orphaned baby birds require skills. This makes the topic sentence for it because the rest are irrelevant or too very much generalized. This choice clearly fits with the main focus of the paragraph, which is the skill that is needed to hand rear orphaned baby birds, the baby birds who have lost their parents, how to hand rear them, unko kaise pala jaye khud khila ke. So choice A is very vague, and choices C and D introduce other topics. They are not related to this topic. With this, I come to the last practice part, that is practice 5. Leaving the space for the topic sentence, I continue with the paragraph. All waves, though, have common characteristics that govern their height. The height of a wave is determined by its speed, the distance it travels, and the length of time the wind blows. And the topic sentence may be option A. Currents, unlike waves, are caused by steady winds or temperature fluctuations. B. Tsunamis used to be called tidal waves. C. Ocean waves can vary from tiny ripples to powerful raging swells. Number D option. A breaker is when a wave gets top heavy and tips over. Of course, you can notice which one can be the possible option for a good topic sentence. Ocean waves can vary. This can be the correct option. And what is the reason? The main focus of the paragraph is the height of the waves. This is the only choice that introduces the topic. With this, we move on to the next activity, and this activity again deals with working on a paragraph. For each of the following paragraphs, choose the sentence that does not belong. You see, in this case, each paragraph that I would introduce would have 4 sentences, and one of those sentences would be irrelevant. What you have to do is to point out that. An odd behavior associated with sleep and dreaming is somnambulism, commonly known as sleepwalking. Sleepwalkers suffer from a malfunction in a brain mechanisms that monitors the transition from REM to non-REM sleep. REM sleep is vitally important to psychological well-being. Sleepwalking episodes diminish with age and usually cause no serious harm. The worst thing that could happen would be a fall down the stairs. You can notice each sentence is marked with 1, 2, 3. Out of all these 4 sentences, I hope you would have been able to identify the one that is not related. By the way, if you are not sure about this, you can check for yourself. Number 1. An odd behavior associated with sleep and dreaming is Somnambulism, commonly known as sleepwalking. Now, the first sentence is about sleepwalking. Look at the second sentence. Sleepwalkers suffer from a malfunction in a brain mechanism that monitors the transition from REM to non-REM sleep. So again, the sentence is about sleepwalkers or sleepwalking. When you look at sentence 3, REM sleep is or REM sleep is vitally important to psychological well-being. You see that it is not related to sleepwalking. That is why this is the sentence that is mentioned in blue is irrelevant. Fourth sentence, again, the very first word tells it is about sleepwalking. So the only sentence that does not mention sleepwalking is sentence number 3, and it is not very much relevant. Again, read this paragraph. Lyme disease is sometimes called the great imitator because its many symptoms mimic those of their illness, of other illnesses. Number 2, when treated, this disease usually presents few or no lingering effects. Number 3, left untreated, it can be extremely debilitating and sometimes fatal. Number 4, one should be very careful when returning from a trek in the woods to check for deer ticks. I hope you would have been able to notice that each one of these sentences is about the disease particularly. However, the fourth sentence, because the reference to deer ticks, and there is actually no clue in the paragraph that would tell that how it is caused by deer ticks. So the fourth sentence becomes irrelevant. I have provided the details here, by the way. With this, I move on to the next part of the activity. Again, the paragraph starts with first sentence. The harp is a musical instrument that has an upright triangular frame. Number 2, its strings are positioned perpendicular to the sounding board. Number 3, harps are found in Africa, Europe, North and South America, and a few parts of Asia. Number 4, its beautiful sound, which is capable of stirring great emotion, might bring tears to your eyes. Notice which one is irrelevant. I hope you would have been able to guess. The fourth one is the irrelevant sentence, because the tone of the first 3 sentences is very objective, whereas the fourth sentence is more subjective and it is about personal opinion. This also has a comparatively more informal tone, so this does not fit much into the rest of the paragraph. Here also I have pointed this out in blue color, the fourth sentence, and I have given the same reason, that the tone of the fourth sentence is more personal and subjective. With this, we move towards the end of today's session. Here on these 2 slides, I have provided the list of the references of all that I have used as sources to design this presentation for you, and these are also the sources that you can explore further if possible for you to learn more. Before I close today's session, I would like to share a review of today's session. In today's session, we talked about what is a paragraph. With this, we moved on to the selection of topic sentence and controlling idea. And I actually talked about different types of paragraphs, that is introductory, body, and transitional paragraphs. And then finally, I talked about concluding paragraphs. During the course of the session, I talked about certain techniques and devices that can be used to create good paragraphs, or that can be used to create coherence in paragraphs. Towards the end of today's session, we had some activities and exercises, and I hope these activities would have helped you revise the ideas that were shared with you during the session. It would also have helped you to apply the information that I provided to you regarding different rules that are to be used while creating different types of sentences as introductory, body, or transitional and concluding sentences. With this, I close today's session. In the next session, we will talk about further details of different types of paragraphs. Thank you very much.